Okay. So, uh, you know how everyone's always talking about like bathroom scales?
Hmm.
And you know that moment when you're just kind of staring at the number and you're like, is this thing for real?
Right.
We're doing a deep dive today into the accuracy of the body mass index, like that whole BMI thing.
Yeah.
And we've got this article. It's called Body Mass Index. Is the BMI for real or is the B for baloney?
Okay.
And honestly, after reading this, even I am like questioning everything. Have you ever felt like, you go to the doctor and they're kind of sizing you up based on that BMI number?
It is interesting that you mentioned that because people put so much stock in that number. But like you said, the reality is it's not always an accurate reflection of someone's health.
Totally.
Yeah.
And this article dives right into that. It talks about like the history of BMI. And get this, it was invented like nearly 200 years ago
Yeah.
by an astronomer. An
Really?
astronomer.
Yeah.
What do they know about health?
Well, so Lambert Adolphe Roquetelet was, I mean, he was obsessed with this idea of the average man.
Okay.
And he used math to try and like define it.
Uh-huh.
And he looked at everything from like crime rates to human proportions.
Wow.
And that's actually where this whole BMI formula comes in, or what he called it. It was the Quetelet scale. But it wasn't really meant to like diagnose anyone or anything. It was more of just like a mathematical experiment.
So we're using a nearly 200-year-old formula based on averages to determine like our individual health today.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And it doesn't stop there.
Oh no.
So in the 1970s, Ansel Keys, the nutrition researcher behind the 7-country study, he needed like a simple way to analyze huge amounts of data.
Right.
So he adopted the Quetelet scale, renamed it Body Mass Index, and used it for his research. But even he stressed that it was meant for like large-scale studies, not for evaluating, individuals.
So it's like using a wrench to hammer in a nail, just like the wrong tool for the job.
Exactly.
And I love this. This article compares BMI to measuring a person like a jam jar.
Well,
You can't just consider like weight and height.
right.
What about like muscle mass, bone structure, genetics? Like,
Yeah, all of that is important too. You're totally right. You can't just look at those two things.
right.
There's so much more to it.
So much more.
That's where this whole idea of body composition comes in.
Okay.
It's the ratio of muscle to fat in your body,
Okay.
which, like you said, BMI completely ignores. Like, you could have two people with the exact same BMI,
Right.
but one's like a super buff bodybuilder and the
Yeah.
other person, rarely exercises or anything.
Yeah.
And their health profiles are going to be totally different.
Totally. So if BMI is so flawed, then like what are we supposed to use?
Right.
Don't tell me it's back to like pinching an inch.
Thankfully, no.
Hmm.
We have like much more sophisticated methods now to assess body composition.
Okay.
One common one is the skin fold caliper test,
Oh
where they basically like pinch your skin
no.
at different points on your body.
So not pinch free?
Not completely, no.
Okay.
But it's to measure the thickness of your subcutaneous fat. So that's the fat like just below the skin
Okay.
at those different points.
So maybe not completely pinch free, but definitely more informative than a 200-year-old formula.
Okay.
What else is there?
Another option is bioelectrical impedance analysis,
Okay.
or BIA.
BIA.
Yeah. It sounds kind of complicated,
Yeah.
but it's pretty simple.
Okay.
They basically just send like a harmless electrical current through your body.
We did what?
Yeah, it's totally painless though.
Okay.
But the current, it just helps measure the resistance in your body,
Okay.
which can then be used to estimate your body fat percentage.
Huh.
But even this method, it has limitations because things like how hydrated you are can actually affect the results.
So you're telling me that like having a big glass of water before stepping on one of those fancy scales could throw off the results?
It can?
That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's hydrostatic weighing,
Okay.
which is kind of considered like the gold standard for measuring body composition.
Hmm.
And this one involves being submerged in water
Okay.
to measure your body density.
I have to admit, the thought of like getting dunked in a tank of water to measure my health is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's not super convenient.
It's definitely not as common now,
Yeah.
mainly because it needs like specialized equipment and stuff.
Right.
But and then finally for like the most detailed analysis, we have DEXA scans.
Okay.
These use like low dose x-rays to measure your bone density, muscle mass, and fat mass.
Wow.
It gives you like a really comprehensive look at your body composition.
Okay. DEXA scans sound very high tech. So like if someone's listening and they're like, okay, I'm done with the BMI, I want to ditch the bathroom scale drama and get a real understanding of my body composition, what should they do?
Honestly, the best thing is to talk to like a healthcare professional.
Okay.
They can recommend like the most appropriate method for you based on like your individual needs and goals and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
so basically what I'm hearing is like ditch the bathroom scale drama and talk to a professional.
Yeah.
There are better ways to like figure this whole health thing out.
Absolutely. And this whole deep dive is all about like empowering you to question the information that's out there.
Right.
Just because like a number or whatever has been around forever doesn't mean it's like the be all and end all, you know? You
Yeah.
deserve to have like a more complete picture of your health.
Right. And like I'm looking at this article and honestly it's kind of a relief.
Yeah.
Like all this time I've been stressing about like a number that might not even be telling the whole story.
Exactly. It's about focusing on what like truly matters,
Okay.
which is like your well-being, you know.
Right.
Advocate for yourself, ask questions, and find, healthcare providers who see you as like a whole person,
Mm-hmm.
not just like a number on a scale.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's time to ditch those outdated metrics and just like embrace the fact that we're all unique.
Exactly. And that kind of brings us to like a final thought-provoking question
Okay.
for you to like ponder.
Okay, I'm ready.
So if BMI is just like one example of an outdated metric,
Uh-huh.
what other like health truths are out there that we might need to like reconsider in light of like new research and a more inclusive understanding of like the human body and stuff?
Okay, so like what other things are we getting wrong about our health?
Yeah, exactly. And that's something to think about.
Yeah, as we continue on this journey.
Exactly.
Keep asking those questions and stay curious, everyone.
Yeah.